It doesn't seem all that long ago that I was telling you you can become non-diabetic by summer. Well, summer hasn't officially arrived, but it is mighty close, and our Spring 2023 challenge is concluded, although you may need a couple of more weeks to kind of fine-tune your victory. But the reports are coming in. I sent out an email and I asked people, share what's going on. Share where you have come from and where you are now, and they've done it. So let me just share. I've been actually receiving testimonies from about 1 month on. So people were already excited and seeing victories in their life at 3 and 4 weeks after starting this program for this 2023 challenge. And if you don't know anything about it, at the heart of it was restrict your eating to about 6 hours each day. 2 meals within 6 hours. It could be breakfast and lunch, it could be lunch and dinner, but just 2 meals, no snacks in between, and then make sure they're low-carb meals. I gave a diet plan, which I encourage people to try to follow the best they could. And we also asked them to make Mondays a carnivore day. So we didn't ask anybody to do a total fast, but a carnivore day is essentially a carbohydrate fast. And people are seeing tremendous victory. So let me just share a few of these testimonies and then we'll make a few simple points. Here's a man who says, many, many thanks for the wonderful and inspiring videos posted on YouTube. There were definitely life-changing moments for me and my family. For last month, my A1C has come down from 10.2 to 6.0 with the diet control done for the 3 months. The diet plans and guidelines were thoroughly helpful and useful, but apart from all that, the myth, and this to me is so powerful. He says, yeah, the diet helped a lot, the guidelines were great, but he said, the myth of diabetes being non-curable or non-reversible has been removed, and a heartfelt assurance that with the help of right lifestyle changes, this epidemic can be brought under control. So he's like, yeah, I'm thankful for the dietary guidelines and all the advice. But for him, it seemed like the most exciting thing was there was this myth that you can't beat diabetes. You can't really control diabetes. It's progressive. It's chronic. It's bad. It'll only get worse. There's not anything you can do except sit around the house singing Nobody Knows the Troubles I've Seen. And he's like, that myth has been dispelled, and now suddenly he's excited. So 10.2 A1C down to 6.0. He says, both my parents passed away falling victim to this deadly disease. That's sad. Both parents died, and diabetes was significantly to blame. He says, now for me also it was becoming out of control. But the timely help from you has brought me back into life with overall grace and blessings of the Almighty. So yes, we want to thank God, and we are wanting to be excited for this friend who is finding victory, 10.2 to 6.0. Okay, here's another guy who says at the end of October 2022, my A1C was 7.2. Found your channel. Now I'm at 5.7 according to the computation you suggested. In early July, he says, I'll have the official blood work. I've lost 40 pounds. Praise the Lord. I'm 72 years old. So 7.2, now 5.7. Wonderful, wonderful progress. A lot of people, they fight and struggle and sweat and work and can barely see a 1-point drop in their A1C. And yet in 3 or 4 months or 5 or 6 months, so many of these, they don't just see a 1-point drop in their A1C. They see drops of 3, 4, 5 points. But this one was 7.2 to 5.7, so very nice. All right, here's another testimony. This individual says, thank you for the challenge. I started out at 7.8. I'm now 5.9. Still got some work to be done. I know it's a lifetime challenge. Thank you very much. 7.8, 5.9. These are the kind of victories that any doctor would be thrilled to see. And yet we see them all the time. All right, here is a lady who says, thank you for giving me the key to finally getting my numbers down. I wish I had known this 23 years ago. So 23 years, apparently, dealing with diabetes. She says, I struggled through all these years. Never had low numbers until you, Dennis. What a revelation in all your programs. Sometimes I listen to them twice. So she doesn't say exactly what her A1C was or is now, but she's happy and apparently has seen some great progress. Here's another lady, says today's A1C based on the average 5 glucometer scores is 5.6. I'm a 71-year-old woman. History. A1C in August 2021 and November of 2022 were both 8.5. So for about a year, a little over a year, she had an 8.5 A1C. So by doing the low carb, she got it down to 6.8 in February, but now today it's averaging around 5.6 as an A1C. So she is excited. Here's another testimony. This spring challenge has resulted in so many things, mostly obtaining great knowledge and improved self-talk, okay? Thank you for your messages, your advice, and for speaking the truth. When I started this journey, so she started back in August of last year, August 22, my A1C was at 9, my weight was 265, waist 45 inches, and I had fatty liver disease as well as achy joints, psoriasis, and a hard time sleeping. Today, A1C has dropped from 9 to 6.2. Weight has dropped from 265 to 212, so that's a 50-point drop. Waist is 43 inches, so not so much of a lower waistline, but boy, she has dropped a lot of weight, so it's coming off somewhere. She said, in a recent CT scan of my abdomen, the first line of the radiologist's review said resolved fatty liver. Let me say that again, resolved fatty liver. Yeah, it can be resolved. Fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is not something that cannot be dealt with. It can, actually pretty easily, by doing the low carb, the time-restricted eating, and so forth. All right, just a few quick points and we'll wrap this up. First point, if these people can see victory, and all the others that we constantly read, and we have people appear on the channel, we do telephone interviews and so forth, if all these people can see victory, why not you? Are you so different from all the rest that you can't see victory? And I'm persuaded that almost anybody can see significant victory. It'll take some longer than others, but we can all see it. Even if you're type 1, yeah, you'll still have to take insulin, but you won't have to take so much and you'll have it better controlled. And to me, that's victory. So to me, type 1 or type 2, you can see victory of some kind for sure. And I was thinking about this today. We've seen so many victories and we heard testimonies. Almost every video I post, I get comments left under the video about some victory that they saw with their diabetes, different ones. And then, of course, there's all the videos. I mean, I could put together a collection of testimonies. I've been doing this now since 2017, so we've got quite a few testimonies. I never even counted. I don't know what it is, but it's a bunch. We could put them all together. Imagine playing little portions of those testimonies in a doctor's office, and here someone comes into that doctor's office. The doctor has told them over the phone they've got diabetes. It's bad diabetes. He wants to talk to them. He wants to run some more tests. So they're sitting in the doctor's office, gloomy, depressed, thinking their life is over, and then these testimonies are playing. What do you think that would do to somebody's mood and hope? It would improve it dramatically, because where there's hope, there's a good mood. So imagine if people could hear that. Well, of course, that's really what this channel is all about. That's why I just keep sharing testimonies. I keep playing testimonies. I know a lot of them are not all that different. And it's generally kind of the same thing. I had diabetes in a very bad way. I had constant urination. I had blurry vision. I felt terrible. And then I ran across your channel, maybe some other channels, and I started cutting my carbohydrates down. And lo and behold now, and I did the time-restricted eating, the intermittent fasting, and lo and behold now, I'm down there in the 5s. And the symptoms are gone. And my doctor can't believe it. He asked me, what in the world did you do? And I said, well, I've been cutting my carbohydrates, or I've been watching Dennis, or I've been watching Jason Fung, or a number of us are saying pretty much the same thing. So anyway, I've heard people say, wouldn't it be great to see your videos being played in doctors' offices that deal with diabetes? And yeah, it would be great. And doctors, if you're listening to me, watching me, you have my permission. You can contact me and we can find a way to get a whole bunch of them to you. And if you want to play them in your waiting room, you are more than welcome, no charge. So why do these challenges work so well? I think one of the reasons is it's a kickstart. It's like a lot of people, they watch the videos and they start getting some excitement and build up some hope, but they can't quite bring themselves to start. It's kind of like someone who says, I really ought to start jogging or walking, but it's hard to do that very first jog or that very first walk. So these programs, these challenges get people moving and they take a start. And once they start and they see some success, and that's another reason, is you can gauge your success. There's a lot of things you'll have a hard time gauging whether you're really succeeding or not. But with diabetes, it's easy to gauge. You can test your fasting glucose. You can do 5 random glucose tests over the day and average that out into an A1C. And you can see from month to month, sometimes from week to week almost, that you're making significant progress. And boy, once you find that out, once you figure that out, you get so excited. And boy, I sure did. When I began to see the numbers come down and level off, and I started feeling better, nothing like it. So let me close with this one statement that I read at the beginning from this first guy. He says, the guidelines were helpful. He says they're thoroughly helpful and useful. But he says, apart from all that, apart from the dietary guidelines, the myth of diabetes being a non-curable, non-reversible disease has been removed. And boy, that's a breath of fresh air when you get that. The myth that nobody can beat diabetes, nobody can reverse diabetes, diabetes is just going to get you and there's not much you can do about it. He says that myth has been done away with, and it feels so good. So my friend, there is hope for you. Be encouraged. Lots and lots. We're talking thousands and tens of thousands, not all through this channel, but through my channel and others like me, and through books and doctors and nutritionists that are all preaching the same sermon, singing the same song, which is low carbohydrates. Lower those carbs, lower those carbs. Let me say it again, lower those carbs. Restrict how much time per day you eat. Cut it down to about 6 hours. And if you need a third meal, make that some bulletproof coffee or maybe 1 or 2 boiled eggs. Let that be it. And watch those numbers go down. And as the numbers go down, your hope level goes up. If you've recently been diagnosed with diabetes and you've just discovered this channel, let me recommend that you go to our uploads page, which will give you access to every diabetic video we've posted since we began. As you work your way through all our videos, I believe you'll find the help you need. A link to our uploads page is in the description.